My name is Terry Watts and I'm from Activate Learning Group. Activate Learning is one of the largest training companies in the UK. Certainly in the southeast of England, we're the biggest. And we have about 60 million turnover. We look after about 30,000 students every year, which I know in Indian terms is quite small, but in UK terms is enormous. So you'll have to believe me on that. When we come to India, we talk about ourselves as City of Oxford College. And what I hope to do today is to try and explain to you what it's like coming to India as a startup, actually, because although we are a big organisation with 2,000 employees, in terms of international, this is our first foray into the international markets in any structured way. And the exam question that was set me was to explain to you what we're looking for in an investor or a partner in India. So hopefully I'll do that. And one of the key things that I think will come back to my discussion every time is flexibility. Because we recognise that the products and the things that we do in the UK won't necessarily work in India. And you need to recognise that what we think might work in India may need to be adjusted. So we will happily amend things. We'll make things different for you as much as we can. So there needs to be flexibility on both sides. Don't think because we say we do this, that's all we do. Because there's lots of things that we do that we don't know of interest to you. So flexibility is the first thing. And one of the things is City of Oxford College. No one's ever heard of Activate Learning, because it's only been around for a couple of years as a brand. City of Oxford College has been around for over 60 years as a college. It's one of the 3 colleges in our group. We have Reading College as well, Banbury and Bicester. We've got 4 schools in the UK, 4 colleges in Saudi, and 12 partner organisations in Southeast Asia. So, but no one's ever heard of Activate Learning. Oxford's been around for about 4,000 years. The university has been there for about 1,200 years, so people have heard of Oxford University. We aren't the university, but because of that brand, because of that name, we've come to the market as that brand. And it's really important that you don't mix us up, because we are very different. And the reason we're here is we think we do something rather special. And I think you'll find that all the people who come to these events as trying to franchise their products, believe they are different and special. And I've seen there are lots of educational franchises on offer and lots of people wanting to go into the market with you in India for those sorts of things. And I'm sure they all think they're special too, and I'm sure they are in many ways. What we do that's special, I hope will resonate very well with what's going on in India at the moment. My first visit back in May, that was what we found. So our particular thing is we like to work with mostly young people, but also people who are already in work, to try and transform their lives through learning. And the aim is to give them a different perspective on learning. It's not just about teaching them the academic content so they can qualify and pass a qualification, pass an exam. It's actually to prepare them for a lifetime of learning. Because unlike old people like me, the youngsters these days are going to be faced with multiple careers, having to reinvent themselves several times. The rate of change of technology is enormous by anybody's standards, and it's only going to accelerate. There's a whole story about that. And so they'll have to learn new things throughout their lives. They won't have, like my father had a job in one company for most of his life. They'll have many jobs, many companies, many careers. And that's what we're about. And our aim is to try and work very closely with industry, very closely with employers, to make sure that we prepare people as best as we possibly can for working in the new world that's coming towards them. And why we think that's particularly of use in India is if you look at the good news in India is that the government is, I've heard someone say, it isn't my words, but someone said finally woken up to the fact that actually we're producing lots of academically qualified people in India, but we aren't producing people with the right skills. And they're looking to grow the economy in double digits, become one of the growth economies of the world again. And to do that, your Prime Minister has said he's going to create 100 million new jobs in India. 100 million new jobs, that's more than the population of the UK. And those sorts of numbers really blow my mind, if I'm honest. But if he gets halfway towards that, then it'd be an amazing achievement, and that's something that we hope to be part of delivering. And the good news in achieving that is that there are something like 26.5 million people in higher education in India. And of those, 9 million or so graduate every year. That's the figure I got for 2014-15. 1 in 6 of those studies in a technology or an engineering discipline as well. So you're well on the way to produce those sorts of skills that the workforce needs to get those 100 million jobs and the growth in the economy. Or at least you would think that, and that's what I thought. Then I came here back in May and people told me things like 93% of MBAs that qualify are technically unemployable. So the qualification they have isn't really worth the qualification. They've studied hard to do something and on its own it doesn't get you a job. And something like 94% of engineers, someone told me, are unemployable. Some of those, in fact the first figure came from the internet this morning. I thought I'd better check my facts before I said it again on the stage. And that's what I'm being told by several people as I've been here, that a lot of the graduates that come out of higher education are unemployable because they haven't got the relevant skills to cope and to thrive in the workplace. So that's the bad news. That's the things that need to be addressed, and that's currently why we're here. And the way we do that in the UK, because it's the same thing in the UK, except that 95% of our graduates, they aren't university graduates, but the people who leave our courses either go on to their jobs they choose to go into, or they go on to further study. So very few of our students end up unemployed or end up doing things they don't want to do. And the reason for that is we have a learning philosophy based on 3 premises. We teach the brain, which is the academic part, which every institution of education does. That's what you're there to do. We teach them to pass exams, and we give them knowledge. But on top of that, we realise that employers and industry and people's lives in the future will need a lot more than just knowledge. You need motivation. You need to know why you're studying. What's the purpose of what you're doing? Is there a purpose to it at all? And making sure that motivation is there. That's the only thing that keeps young people coming back to our college when there's so many distractions around them these days, to actually make sure they know why they're doing what they're doing. And then emotionally they need to grow as well. They need to be mature enough to recognise that in the workplace it's slightly different to being at school or being out with your friends. You need to make sure that you respond properly in the workplace, and the way you respond to people will reflect on how they respond to you. So all those kind of self-awareness activities. Things go wrong in the workplace, and whereas at school you might decide to thump someone, or run away, or go and tell teacher, in the workplace you have to cope with those setbacks and be resilient enough to come back and tackle it again. So those kinds of activities in terms of emotion as well. And those 3 factors make up our learning philosophy. I can go on to this for hours, and I've tried to cut it very short because that isn't what you're here to hear about. The other thing we do is we work very closely with employers. One of the things we're hoping to do, well I'll tell you now actually, rather than do it later. Our ambition for working in India is to set up 25 skills universities. So that would be a university focusing on delivering students or learners with the skills they need to be ready for the workplace. And we want to set 25 of those up. If with a bit of luck, next week I'll sign the MOU on the first of those in Gujarat. We want to do a lot more, and India's got a huge opportunity for us, so we'd like to do a lot more of those. And that's with a company whose primarily their business is real estate, so that isn't with a property company. We're going to look for an academic partner to support us locally and work on building a skills university. And from a franchise perspective, we don't want to set up businesses in the UK. Partly because there's lots of good businesses in the UK, lots of good training provision, in India, businesses in India I meant to say, lots of good training companies already in India. What we'd like to do is work with those companies and those experts in the Indian education system to add our flavour to it and make it work more effectively for the employers in India. So 25 skills universities, and we've also just signed our first MOU with Times and Trends Academy, and I think sitting in the front row, we've not actually met face to face yet, but we'll meet after this, who are the first of our franchise partners where we're accrediting 2 of their courses to start with, hopefully doing a lot more, and we're issuing City of Oxford College certificates alongside the existing certificates there. And we've worked very closely with them to make sure the curriculum, which is already very good, aligns to the objectives that we wanted to make for it as well, and add those employability facets as well. And we'll be training and working together on the teaching as well, that sort of stuff. And that's the first of many. We like to have lots of those kinds of franchises around India. So those are the 2 models we're looking for. But key to what we do is employer engagement. So for this Skills University, I'm going to sign the MOU for next week. That currently is a field in Gujarat on a university, a Knowledge Village campus. But the first meeting I hope to have is with the employers locally. And we've chosen that particular location because some of the employers are Tata, Suzuki, big pharmaceutical companies, and Ford. And the idea is to produce young learners, or older learners, who will actually meet the requirements of those employers. And those employers will help us design the building, they'll help us design the curriculum, they'll help us work out the layout of the structure. So in UK, for example, we work on a technical college that we run with Microsoft, Cisco, Network Rail, if that means anything to you guys over here, and a whole lot of tech companies. They have told us that they want the school to be run from 9 till 5:30, so the students are there from 9 to 5:30. They don't wear uniform, they wear business dress, well, like I'm dressed now. They talk to their teachers on first name terms, because in the workplace that's what you do in the UK. They don't organise themselves into classes but into companies, and the employers actually teach part of the curriculum. They don't just help us design it, they come in and teach parts of the curriculum. So that's the extent to which they work with us. So they're absolutely fundamentally involved in it. It doesn't mean they take all of those students on as they leave, although actually the first few cohorts there was a fight over the students who left. Not literally, but a big competition over the students who left. And so it doesn't mean they do that, but the point is that they're absolutely fundamentally involved in everything we do, in running and designing and delivering the outcomes for those students in those colleges. So employer engagement is absolutely vital. And they do that by providing mentoring. They sit alongside the students and they teach them and coach them through projects. So I'll give you a quick example. Skanska is a big civil engineering company in the world, actually. It's quite a global one, although I know it's not here in India because I've asked people before. They work with us in Oxford and they help on the built environment training and education. They set a project, and their job in Oxfordshire is to do all the road maintenance and the new structures, civil engineering projects for the whole county of Oxford. They had to build a new roundabout to a business park, and at the same time as they got the commission from the council, they then gave that commission to the students who organised themselves into teams, and the student teams worked in parallel with the Skanska team to respond to that commission from the council. They did the geology survey, they did the materials survey, looked at traffic flows, looked at designs, project plans and deliveries and all that kind of thing, costings. And in parallel with the Skanska project team, they were coached and mentored on the sorts of things that actually was important to the customers and how that might work and how they might build their project plan. And then at the end of the term, they gave a final presentation to the project team saying, okay, which of us are you going to award as being the best project team you've worked with? And but 2 days before the project was actually to be presented, they said, bit of news, the council's cut its budget by 20%, you've still got to deliver the same thing. The whole world's just changed. So you've got to redo all of your work for 6 weeks of work, and you've got to try and present it the day after tomorrow. Just like happens in the real world. A complete setback. Once the students had gone over the shock and the unfairness of the whole thing and realised that was what happens in the real world, they did a brilliant job and they recovered and they gained confidence from that kind of activity. But the way that Skanska worked was reflected in the way the students were forced to work, and they had learned more from that probably than they did in terms of the academic content of that term. So the employers work with us very closely, and we build a model based around what they want to do and project-based learning, which we're particularly good at. And the mantra all the way through is there's a line of sight to employment. So you come to us to get a job. You don't come to us because your parents say you need to come to us. You come to us because you want to go and do a particular function in a particular industry, and that's the way we make things work. And in doing that, we build learner attributes. These are the attributes that employers want to see in students. There's a whole load of information behind all of this, and we're building a software tool so you can measure the attributes of people at different times. But these are the kind of attributes you want to see in someone who's working for you. The positive attributes, the ability to respond to the business, the autonomy to actually do things on their own without waiting for being told what to do, the resilience, as I said before, to cope with setbacks, professional skills. Everybody in work needs to know they've got to turn up on time. They need to know how to treat customers, understand what a balance sheet is, what a project plan is, and those kinds of things we teach them as well. So that's learner attributes. And the other thing that I think is key to the kind of partners we're looking for is the system needs reforming. And it's not just it's the UK as well. It's education, and certainly education when, I work a lot around the world, and there's a lot of investment in higher education around the world, driven a lot by the UK government and other governments who want to see their universities spread. And what's happening in Egypt and in China and in many of the growing economies is that they've got lots and lots of academically qualified people who can't actually run businesses and can't actually deliver in the workplace. So I think there's a whole change in the implementation of skills development required across the world, and actually India is a great place to start. And the way that we do that is we look at the learner journey from day one when they click on the website to find out more about what we do on a particular course, through to the time they leave us and they become part of our alumni. We try and manage them as a client, we try and make them as engaged as possible. I've upset someone, I think, with his going. But so we try and engage them before they arrive. They get project work before they actually arrive in the building, and we know quite a lot about them by the time they actually arrive on site at campus for the first time. And then we manage that engagement, we manage their development, and we keep them working with us closely for their motivation and their direction all the way through. And then when they've left, they can't get away because we get them to come back and talk to new students about the experience they've had, the things they've learned, and what's been valuable for them as they've been working with us. So, summarise, we have two main products, the Skills University and the course accreditation. Those are the only two products that we're going to market with now. Doesn't mean that's all we can do. And in support of those products, we've got teacher development. If you're going to teach learners differently, you need to actually have different teaching methodologies and use of technology in the classroom and expectations from students, and we teach people how to do that. We have an online offer as well, and we're developing a business school as well as that online too. So we've got a whole range of activities. We work in every sector there is, apart from agriculture. And so, you know, what I'm saying really is, if you're looking for a partner in your franchisee, then don't think that what they come to you with is the whole story. Most companies have got something extra to offer, and if they're like us, they'll be flexible to make what they do meet the needs of your business and your market, because that's what you know best, and that's what you provide best to us, is the knowledge of the local Indian market. And the products, the other thing I've noticed as well, working with some of the British companies, is some of them come to the India and other countries. This is my product, and it's this shape, and this is what we do, and this is how much it costs, and this is how it works. They need to learn, and you need to teach them if they don't know, that India is a different market, pricing is different, the deadlines are different, and we need to work differently there. So the same products won't work. And we've certainly learned that, and that's why we don't intend to set up Indian businesses, but work with successful Indian businesses to grow their business and ours in India. And Time and Trends Academy is exactly that sort of thing. So. And the other thing we look for in a partner is similar ethos to us. Is they use partnering. We're very much, one of the key measures that we like to look for is lives per annum. We measure the number of lives that we positively touch as an organisation every year. That doesn't earn us a penny. It doesn't make any difference to what anyone thinks about us. But from our perspective, it's really important that we don't forget that we're there to make a positive impact on the lives of the learners that we have. And so we measure that every year. And we need someone, another partner, who also values not just the balance sheet, but values the quality and the opportunity and the lifestyles we help young people, primarily young people, develop for themselves as they develop their skills. And those kinds of attributes are what we're looking for in our partner too, and that's an important thing. You need to align strategically with your franchisee as well as academically, or in our case academically, or commercially. So we expect our students to live those values because they're the values of our organisation. We expect our staff to live those values because they're the values of our organisation, and we want our partners to live those values too, and they need to adopt those values because that's the way we do things. So that's the final summary, is that City of Oxford College, rather than Activate Learning, a whole system reform. Let's be ambitious, let's try and change the world. We want to affect 250,000 lives in India in 5 years, 20 of those skills universities, 100 Times and Trends academies, and we want that to be something that we're ambitious about together with our partners. But the whole focus is on the learner, line of sight to employment, and putting employers in the driving seat. And consistent implementation, that was another thought there really, was that the advantage to me of working with franchise is that you can actually have a consistent model. Whereas if you work with too many different people, you end up with different opportunities everywhere, and it gets very complicated. So that's it really. I think it's a really exciting opportunity to be had in the education sector in India, and that's why there are so many Indian franchise opportunities out here. And we're obviously the best one you'll see out there.
Let me just introduce myself. I'm actually the Executive Director for International Business in China. Come from this organization called Singapore Commonwealth Capital Group. So they highlighted Pastamania. It's just one of the very established and flagship brand under our organization. Basically, we're a Singapore investment-based company. We look purely at F&B, and franchising is one of the strategy that we have embarked on to expand into the Asia Pacific, Middle East, and India region. So, quick one, if you can see. Well, I don't think the resolution is too good, so I'm just going to run through quickly. We have Pastamania. It's an Italian casual dining restaurant concept. In Singapore, 5 million population, we have almost about 30 over retail stores. We own that 100%. Along the way, we have also embarked on acquiring other new F&B brands. We have NYC Bagel, New York Style Bagel, We have also what we call Swiss Bake, a Swiss artisanal cafe concept. We have also the B2B part of it, which we actually service the international F&B brands. I mean, the established ones like the McDonald's, those that you know. We handle the R&D and we produce for them as well. We also went upstream to acquire our so-called meat manufacturer, that's Zack Meat. Actually, those are halal meat that we talk about, processed meat. We have also created an Italian cafe dessert concept, not an ice cream parlor. It's a combination of ice cream plus also a cafeteria, a gelateria plus a cafeteria. We have also our own fish farm. You saw this Kubara, is Asia sea bass. We have also other concepts like Baker and Cook and Plank on that. So it's a very much set up as an F&B organization based out of Singapore. Probably the top 3 in Singapore in that context. Okay, so the whole value chain in terms of what we offer from F&B, from food manufacturing, we have our own fish farm. We own our own tomato farms in northern Italy called Parma, right? So actually for all the tomato sauces that is served to all our Pastamania's outlet, it's all from our own farms in Italy. Likewise, we are into production, bakery, central bakery production. We only produce European high density bread items. Basically, it's the opposite of what we get in India. In India and in Southeast Asia, we get Asia soft buns. We are producing the high density European breads items. Maybe that's not suitable for India at this moment, in my own opinion, because we are all Asians and we enjoy Asia soft buns better. We are also into our own logistics and warehousing. We have 9,000 pallet size of so-called pallet size for ambient, frozen, and so-called chilled kind of storage facility in Singapore. Basically, we also do supply to hotels and to all the international brands in Singapore. Not just OEM for them, right? But primarily in the Southeast Asia region, we do the R&D, and that's the value add that we're getting from them. Finally, our own franchise brands, Pastamania, available in 12 countries. By the end of the year, we should be in 16. We operate out of Middle East, China, Southeast Asia markets, and also in Africa. Okay, I'm not going to go through these strategies and talk about it. I'm just going to skip it. Right? A little bit more about organization. This is what you get in Singapore, right? We are a very small country of 5 million population. This is the food hub that we have almost 300,000 square feet. You have the seafood processing line, you have the bakery processing line, each occupying almost about 50,000 over square feet, right? So it's quite a substantial investment. You have also the, you get in Singapore, very highly automated kind of central production, basically to support the F&B operations. This is the bakery line. You could look at it, all the machinery's investment. This is the meat production, the sausages, processed meat that we talk about. We create very special recipes for Mediterranean flavors that we export to around the world and in particular Middle East. This is the ASRS, the Automated Storage and Retrieval System. 9,000 in pallet size in terms of chilled, frozen and ambient temperature. This is we are an F&B company. We actually built a cafe in our own corporate office, and we actually supply our own products to our employees so that we get to taste them every day, and also as a form of quality check on that. Using a lot of technologies now, move away from the traditional way of doing things in the restaurants. You get the cloud system, you get the mobile ordering devices. Well, systems and processes are very critical. For example, in Pastamania, we have our online e-academy school, right? You don't need for trainers to come down to be training you. All you need to do is at the press of the button, you go online and there's a school to teach you all that. There's an e-academy. Or I think in franchising, most of us look at what systems and processes, right? So what is very critical in F&B? The recipe build, am I right? And a lot of the current F&B players, the recipe build are all what we call stored in paper. But now with cloud systems, right, you can store recipe build online, right? You can work with franchisees to create local recipes and you get stored online. And you can get to download all franchise system deliverables, artwork via the internet. And you have also what we call like an eBay, a marketplace, where proprietary items, where we have economies of scale, you can actually purchase them online. Prices are all uniform from countries to countries. So this is a proprietary system that we built. Okay, so this is the brands that we have. I'm just going to skip the video, quick one. So this is the current footprint in 12. By the end of the year, will be 18 countries. specializing in Middle East, China, Southeast Asia markets, mainly Asia Pacific will be very critical. And India is the next frontier of growth, which is very critical that we are coming into this market. Okay. This is emerging markets that we specialize in. This is the Pastamania outlet in Yangon, that's in Myanmar. Almost 3,000 square feet, a very Italian colonial style that we have. This is basically during the launch, the reception that we got, right, from the operations on that in a country like Myanmar. Emerging economy, the Q2 night, very much focused on helping the franchisees. How do we translate from online to offline customers, where social media becomes a very critical social tool. 62,000 fans online before we launch, and becomes a very critical source where we draw all these customers. You could see they are very social media savvy as well. Right, so this is the next outlet that we launched in Cambodia, right, Southeast Asia. Two concepts, Pastamania and Gelato Fix, 500 over square meters or 5,000 square feet, facing the very famous Mekong River. I'm not going to go into the details. This is the store, our store in China. Very much focused on Italian piazza style. You could see the crowd on that, right? So we go through we grow by means of mergers and acquisitions. So in the pipeline, besides having our Pastamania as our flagship brand, we have grown. Likewise, in 2016, we basically acquired new brands like Others, very local Singaporean alcoholic ice cream flavors. You have the Soup Spoon, basically a soup concept, Western cuisine concept, comes with salad on that, right? So this is a quick overview of the franchise part.